My name is Tim De Schoenmacker. I work as a site administrative manager for Jan de Nul. I am responsible for the administrative part on foreign sites, also for financial and accounting parts. We keep an accounting and we report to head office about financial and analytical accounting. I work for Jan de Nul since the 31st of March 2014. Currently I work in Colombia. Before Colombia I worked in another city in Colombia, in Guadeloupe and in Mauritius. Generally life is pretty good in Colombia, but it depends from city to city. Some cities are more safe and are more nice to live in than others. The things that I enjoy most of working in Colombia is the atmosphere, the good temperature and the nice people. At the moment I am on vacation in Belgium because we work with a 2-to-1 system. For every day you work abroad you get half a day of vacation in Belgium. So we work 2 months abroad and we have 1 month of vacation in Belgium. In Colombia I don't have a family, my family is in Belgium. But we have a lot of Belgian colleagues. It is my first job, so I don't really know how it is working in Belgium, but I can imagine that it's a bit different because there is a different atmosphere and because we also work with a lot of local people, local Colombians or in the past local Mauritians, and the work ethic is a bit different. The working hours are different because we work from 7 to 7 and in Belgium it's just 9 to 5. Another advantage of working abroad sometimes is when you're on a nice place, you have a holiday atmosphere in the evening, which you don't have if you work in Belgium. A thing that is interesting and but becoming a passion of mine is just to see a lot of different places of the world, and with this job that I have now that is very easy and possible to do. In Colombia it's necessary to know the local language, which is Spanish, because in general the people, the Colombians, don't know anything else than Spanish. They don't speak English very good. Only Spanish can be used in Colombia. When in Belgium, my hobbies were watching series and I was a member of a youth movement. I can still watch series abroad, but being a member of a youth movement is a bit more difficult abroad, so I quit. I am still a member, but I'm not a leader anymore. I'm not an active member anymore. And while abroad I didn't pick up any other hobbies because we don't have that much of free time. Some new foods that I discovered in Colombia are the maracuya fruit. Colombia has many special types of fruit that you cannot find in Belgium. From the maracuya you can compare a bit with the big passion fruit and then make juices out of it or cocktails or stuff like that. In general, the supermarkets are decent in Colombia. It's not that you don't have that much choice like in Belgium, but the basic stuff is available, so you can prepare a simple meal or like pasta and yeah, you have a lot of different vegetables. You can prepare some basic meals you could prepare also in Belgium, and some more exotic stuff you wouldn't be able to find in Belgium. In general, the lifestyle is a bit the same, depends from which city you live in, but the apartments and food is paid by the company, so we have a decent apartment like anyone would have in Belgium, and we have the opportunity or the possibility to go at restaurants every day if we want, or just to buy food in the supermarket, so we can maintain the same lifestyle. Here abroad, most of the things are paid by the employer. It's not that hard to meet the local people if you work abroad, because in my case, most of the time we have local people working in the office as secretaries, accountants, local purchasers. So immediately when you arrive in a country, you already know some local people. In the weekends when you go out, you also meet local people. The most easygoing people were probably the Colombians. They are very open and very social. Alcohol is important in Colombia. The people tend to drink a lot. Some have, because it's a relatively poor country, so some people have some alcohol problems. So it's available and people tend to drink it. Generally, we have a car at we can use a car of the company, but sometimes it is not necessary because we live very close to the office, so we can just walk over from office to the apartment. But if we don't have a car, we can use taxis. And it is very easy to get around that way because there's a huge taxi culture in Colombia. Like 1 in 5 cars in the big cities are taxis, so you just put your hand up and you can go wherever you want. I don't get homesick that easy because I don't have a family of my own in Belgium, just my parents and brothers, and I can keep in contact with them via social media, so that is not that of a big an issue for me. The most I like is the general atmosphere of the people and the temperature. The least would be that it's not always easy to work in because it's very bureaucratic, even more than Belgium. We live in an apartment paid by the company. If you had to pay it by yourself, it would be probably more expensive than if you would rent the same apartment in Belgium, because there are not that many apartments that have the same quality as you would expect of have in Belgium. So yeah, the work-life balance is during the 2 months we work is very unbalanced because we work 6 days in the week and 12 hours a day, but is compensated by the vacation of 1 month we get afterwards. In Colombia, the relation between men and women is a bit different than in Belgium, because it's a cultural differences. The men are very macho and tend to cheat on their women a lot more than in Belgium. It depends of which city you live in, how safe it is, because some cities are very touristic and some neighborhoods are very touristic and are as a consequence very safe because there are a lot of police, but it's not that smart to go walking in a poorer neighborhood, and I wouldn't advise that to do that everywhere. I decided to move abroad because I was interested in seeing the world a bit, and when you're young you have to do it, because afterwards you might regret it if you didn't do it. I don't have At the moment, I don't have a long-term goal till when I will be working abroad. I'll see how it goes and go from there and take my decisions. The business culture in Colombia, I can't really compare it with the business culture in Belgium because I haven't worked in Belgium. But I guess we have in the offices abroad we have a mixed culture because there is always a pretty big amount of Belgians in the office and some local people. So it's probably a mixture. Generally, my colleagues are also pretty young, so it's nice to work with them, with a young team, and it's also nice to have them as, to meet them after work because we're all a bit of the same demographic. In Colombia, the people have to work, they have a 48 week, so they have to work 6 days in the week for 8 hours. Generally, not everyone does that, but it happens. The work ethic itself is a bit the same, you could say. They are a bit more formal. They use the term senior or sir in English more than you would do in Belgium, I think. When we work abroad, we keep in touch with the offices in Belgium and Luxembourg via mail, Skype, or the local either internal computer programs we use to do our financial reporting. It was my own choice to work abroad because I specifically applied for a function abroad because I wanted to see the world and learn a lot on a short term. I didn't have that many problems to adapt to the expat life because you can maintain the same lifestyle or have a higher lifestyle that way. And there are a lot of Belgian colleagues which is nice because you can still talk in Dutch and joke around. I didn't experience that big of a culture shock in my time abroad. Only one thing that I saw 1 week ago is when we were sitting at a terrace outside of a bar, was that there were children of 10 years old selling chewing gums, and that's a bit sad and unimaginable to see in Belgium. The local etiquette in Colombia and in the other countries I have been is pretty much the same. People tend to eat sometimes more with their hands, but most of the time they still use fork and knife. The most eye-opening experience is a bit in general that when you fly around a lot, that the world is very big but very accessible when you have the opportunity to travel. My advice for future expats would be not to compare everything you see in your new home country or your new country where you work with Belgium, because most of the time it's not comparable, or the cultural differences are too big to compare everything.